with Nole'n Stample. I just watched barrel in. You look like a brand new truck. All shiny and everything. How's business?
Business is good, man. I can't complain.
You look good in the truck, man. You know one of those. I mean, there's certain guys that are truck drivers. I happen to be one. You absolutely as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I love a good pickup truck.
Yeah. Hey, moments ago, looks like Conrad Hussey just picked up his ball and went home. It comes after surprising, I guess I would say nowadays, comments by new defense coordinator Tony White really called out his defense.
Yeah, and it sucks because I really like Conrad. He was someone, especially getting recruited. It's hard. There's not a ton of guys that have been recruited and came and is a true Seminole and not a transfer. So that sucks that he wasn't able to stay and stick around. And obviously, I'm sure we'll kind of figure out what that real situation was. But it is what it is. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, you were one of the very few who was able to take in Florida State's practice here at UNF the last couple of days. I guess it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Anything stand out for you during that work?
I would say the difference between at least this season's camp and last season's camp was the sense of urgency. Mm-hmm. I know last year I spoke a little bit about how Norvell was running all over the place and he was really kind of fired up, where I feel like this season, this camp, he really wasn't. He was very intense, which I love, but it seems like he relied a little bit more on the team to pull their weight, and I think that they did. I think that there was some issues there as far as just being able to keep that intensity, but I definitely see a sense of urgency as far as realizing that we have to get to a certain place, and we're not there yet.
Yeah. Last year at this time, we were talking about 3 possible first-round draft picks on the defensive line. Mm-hmm. Marvin Jones Jr., Peyton, and the return still here of Darrell Jackson. Obviously, it went sideways. The first 2 I mentioned went to Oklahoma and LSU, respectively, is where they're gone. The big names are not there. Did they catch your eye nonetheless?
Yeah, I thought they did. There was a few guys that stood out to me where I'm looking forward to seeing play. There's a little bit of question as far as the run support, but when it comes to the defensive line, I think that there's still a lot of talent still left. Depth is a little bit concerning, but I think there's a ton of talent. I think Kevin Wynn is going to do some great things. I cannot wait to watch him. Juju is going to be someone to be dealt with, especially within this Tony White's defense. I think he's going to do well. And then obviously Darrell Jackson is a monster. I think he's going to play well this season. He's refined a couple things. I saw him kind of get off the ball a lot lower, which only was the only issue that I saw of his last year. But I think all in all, I think we have some talent. I think we can handle up front when it comes into those trenches. It's just going to be staying healthy.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. 3-3-5. I mean, totally different look. Yeah. 3 guys on the scrimmage, 3 backers, 5 always, in a nickel type of defense. So, once again, for starters, they have to learn a new defense. But nowadays, it's almost relative. I mean, I look here. 5 of the 11, Nile, appear to be transfers. So learning a new offense, learning a new defense, that's kind of just the way it is today.
Yeah, it is. And if the second that you're able to get a couple of those guys that could really get it quickly, they're able to bring the other guys with them. And that leadership is one thing that I did see. I definitely saw some internal leadership. I will say, when it comes to leadership this upcoming season, I think that we should not have a lack thereof. We should be in good shape. I think that there's players that are playing with a chip on their shoulder. Last year was another one of those concerns as far as not a lot of guys were being vocal. I saw some guys being vocal. I didn't see a lot of rah-rah. I saw a lot of people really trying to hold each other accountable, which I was very happy to see. And it was really refreshing to see some of that leadership kind of be a bright light at that practice.
Tough to believe. It's 2.5 weeks away. It's Florida State. It's Alabama. It's in God's country. We're talking about training camp here with our Florida State analyst, Nole'n Stample, who, of course, won a national title with Florida State. Did you hear any of the Jimbo stuff with your old teammate, Freddie Stevenson?
Yeah, that was awesome. Jimbo's a character, and I love hearing him gotta go off and rant because it's all the truth. And I think overall it sucks because the way that things ended, I really wish they didn't have to end that way, because Jimbo was someone that embodied Florida State. I think that he really, truly showed that Florida State was something that he wanted nothing but the best for, and it came into fruition when it came to our play on the field. So it sucks the way that it ended, but I love Freddie Stevenson kind of going on there and talking with him and being able to shed some light on how good of a team we were, because we were dominant.
What did you see out of quarterback Thomas Castellanos?
I would have loved to have seen him a little bit more vocal, but I think that he can throw.
Maybe he's done talking.
Maybe.
After the comments he made about Alabama.
Maybe.
Then he doubled down in Charlotte. Anyway, continue on.
Maybe. But I love the way he could throw on the run really well. I think someone like Jalen Lucas, who we don't talk about enough, obviously he wasn't able to do as much as he would like to have last season, but I think that may be a really good dynamic, just because Castellanos is going to have to get out of the pocket. He's going to have to get elusive, and being able to have someone like Jalen that can kind of slip and kind of get lost in the defense and be able to find little pockets, I think that they may be a good pair. But I liked it. I thought he was consistent. There was definitely some things that he needs to work on, and Gus Malzahn has obviously talked about it a ton.
Right.
And I think that we'll see a turn. But from what I saw, he looked solid.
We talk all the time about continuity and camaraderie. My goodness, 5 offensive linemen who are transfers from another school. That just sounds like a nightmare. What did it look like to you?
It didn't look terrible, but there's definitely some things that have to get fixed. I think the one thing is offensive line have to really mesh well. They have to work as one, that as everyone knows. But when it comes to the trenches, there's only so much that you can do with the amount of time that you have. So, you have to, really hone it in. And I think that's a little bit of the issues as far as what Coach Novellis keeps talking about, as far as trying to progress and needing to come around the corner and get around the corner when it comes to this training camp. But at the end of the day, the results that we get are the results that we're going to get.
Right.
Hopefully we get a unified system that we can kind of plug and play with some of those extra players. But overall, they looked all right.
Do they look like, as a group, do they look like they care? It feels like Norvell's weeded out some guys that maybe didn't buy into his program. I mean, after everything that happened, could you look at them and say it felt different? Or was it, just another training camp practice, another year?
Again, I think with 2025's training camp kind of coming to close to an end, obviously that scrimmage yesterday, but with 2025 training camp happening, I will say everyone that I saw on the field looked more serious than it looked like last year. It looked like last year we were in a almost like in a trance, as far as realizing that we're good and we're just going to reproduce what we did last year, which that comfortability is never okay in college football, ever, because every single team, and one thing Jimbo always talked about was every team's identity is different. And he went in. The team last year is no longer here. Not regardless if there's a similar players or not, the team's identity is completely different.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that and embody that. Not just talk about it, but embody that. And I don't think that was done last year, but I see that it's happening this year. Unfortunately, not by choice, but by force.
I don't think anyone saw it a year ago. I mean, everyone seemed to think that they were just going to keep that thing rolling. They were preseason number 10 in the AP. And we talked about it yesterday, 13 of the top 25 teams. And last year's AP Top 25 didn't finish in the top 25. All right, last one for you. What did you see? This number 15, Boggs, the true freshman, I hear a lot of great things at wide receiver. Robinson Jr. comes in. His daddy obviously had a great career coming out of California, playing here for Florida State. Squirrel White, any of those guys stand out?
Yeah, as far as our it's the depth, right? And I definitely saw some people stand out, and it's just Elijah Moore. I think that if we're gonna see someone like a bright light, that hopefully it's gonna be him. He's got to step up. If we can have him step up and really try to get to that next level, that'll be a game changer.
He's
I
6'4".
think there's some weapons, but I think he can.
Can he run? Can he get it? Can he get off the ball?
He can get off the ball.
Yeah,
he can run. He's elusive. But can you translate that to gameplay every Saturday? And we'll see.
I didn't even ask you about the backs. They got a bunch of them. You know, that young kid I keep hearing about from the same high school is Cam Davis. I guess he had a couple of touchdowns the other night during the scrimmage. And, you know, the veteran Roydale Williams are there. So, you know, there's no shortage of running backs. Can you find one or two of them?
Yeah, Chroma is a monster as well.
Is he?
Yeah,
Tell us about him.
He's especially with those bowed legs, he can tote that rock. He is running up and down that field. And I love it because it's when you have a young guy like that, it elevates the whole room. True freshmen that come into a locker room or come into a meeting room elevate the whole room because it shows that you should be further than you should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should be further than you are. Right? As a redshirt junior, redshirt sophomore, you should be further along if this true freshman is coming in here. So it elevates the whole room. I think that he is going to be a force to be reckoned with, but it's also going to push along the Cam Davises and the Roydale. And I'm looking forward to see that running back room flourish, and it won't happen unless that O-line figures it out.
Yeah, you got Jalen Lucas. We talked a lot about him a year ago. I know you mentioned him about 5 minutes ago. They got Gavin Sawchuk from Oklahoma, and Singleton from right here out of Jacksonville, so they do have the backs. Okay, are you going to God's Country? Going to Tallahassee in the next 2.5 weeks before the game, or your plans are in Duval?
I'm going to try. I think I have a meeting there, so I think I'm going to end up being there anyways.
That'd be great.
But yeah, it's we're slowly winding down. I got to see the new facility. I haven't been back there, so I got to see some of those things. But I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like come. A couple days, week prior. It's going to be
going to be a blast. All right, NLS. He's Nile Lawrence Stample. What's the latest? What's going on at NLS Cleaning?
Yeah, we're getting into a little bit more of our off season to where we do a lot of getting a little bit prepped for the holidays, getting prepped for the season. We're doing a lot of exterior cleaning on like backyards and pool decks, everyone coming over for tailgates or different parties and stuff, as well as a lot of our commercial clients are getting ready for the end of the year budgets and stuff like that. So exterior pressure washing, window cleaning, gutter cleaning. We're here always, 904-708-8802. We'd love to help with whatever you need.
Sounds good. There we go. He is Nile Lawrence Stample.